What is up, my fellow fly fishermen? Graham Ferguson here, host of Flycasting Colorado. Today, I'm going to be talking about something that is not my favorite way of fishing, but if you want to become a better fisherman, this is something that you have to learn. That's right, guys. We're going to be talking about nymphing. It's not my favorite thing. There are not a lot of people who really like nymphing. It's not my favorite way to fish at all. I'd 100% rather use a dry fly because, who wouldn't rather use a dry fly, right? Like, they're the best thing. They're the best part of fly fishing. What I absolutely can't stand about nymphing has got to be indicator nymphing. I just can't stand indicator nymphing. It's literally fly fishing. It's like regular fishing. You have a bobber and you're watching the bob. I just can't stand it. It's probably because I really suck at it, which I totally do. I'm so bad at it. But I just can't stand it. However, there is an alternative to that. That alternative being high stick nymphing or Euro nymphing. These are really, really good ways to nymph without having to use a strike indicator. I do not like using a strike indicator, but I do actually enjoy high stick nymphing and Euro nymphing. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys tips and tricks for high stick nymphing. That's my preferred method of nymphing. If I'm going to be nymphing, I'm most likely going to be high stick nymphing. It's much more enjoyable, it's much easier to cast, and it's just a lot more fun for me. And it's actually a lot more simple than you would think. A lot of people have these really complex nymph rigs that I still can't figure out myself, like water depth, everything like that. With high stick nymphing or Euro nymphing, you don't even have to worry about that. That's the cool thing about it. Like, you literally have just a nymph on. There's no indicator. It's pretty much just a nymph. It's just so simple, and that's what I love about it. And I am thinking that you guys are probably really going to enjoy this too. I've actually found that high stick nymphing and Euro nymphing are actually more effective. And this video is to help any of you who might want to get started doing high stick nymphing. You really don't need any special gear to start it. I prefer having a longer rod for high stick nymphing, but it really doesn't matter. In this video, I'm using my 8-foot bamboo rod, and it's a smaller stream, but it still worked just fine. Here are a few tips for you guys if you ever want to pursue this type of nymphing. So my preferred rig for this type of high stick nymphing, I really like this fly right here. It's a gold soft hackle hare's ear, and this a tungsten goldie. Both of these are really good flies, and when it comes to high stick nymphing, you always want your heavy fly, which actually in this case would be the tungsten goldie. You always want to have your heavier fly on the bottom because you are going to be fishing vertically in a vertical water column. So basically what I'm doing in this form of nymphing is I'm casting my fly and my nymphs upstream, and I am moving my rod at about a 45-degree angle and letting my nymphs drift downstream. This gives them an incredibly natural presentation and enables them to drift really nicely in the water column and really roll along the bottom. It's a great way to get your nymphs down really deep, and I am very happy with the way that this method of nymphing performs, and I definitely recommend you guys using this as well. Got one! There he goes. One more tip I'm going to give to you guys when it comes to Euro nymphing. This tip is going to make it or break it for you guys. Setting the hook downstream. As you can see, as soon as I detected the strike, I set the hook facing downstream. If you set the hook upstream, 99% of the time you are not going to land the fish. So this is incredibly important when it comes to catching fish using this method of high stick nymphing, and if you're not able to set the hook downstream, chances are you are not going to be able to catch fish. By far, one of the key factors in any nymphing is going to be detecting the strike. And this can come in many forms. It can come in the form of your line stopping, it can come in the form of a little tug, it can come in the form of a little bump, and sometimes it goes completely unnoticed whatsoever. And that's why at the end of each drift, I like to just do a little strike right before I recast. Just a little strike, that's all it takes. And I've caught a lot of fish that way. One of the things about high stick nymphing is that strikes with these fish are really, they're easy to track. As you guys can see there, strikes aren't always going to be as noticeable as this one was. This one gave a little bump and a little bit of a pull, but that's what a strike is typically going to look like. And whether it's a bump of a rock or anything, I always like to set the hook. And sometimes it won't be a fish, but you never know, sometimes it will be. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys learned a thing or two about high stick nymphing and Euro nymphing. This video is mostly for people looking into high stick nymphing. I think high stick nymphing is probably the simplest form of nymphing there is. I really do enjoy this method of nymphing, and I hope you guys find the time to start trying this method. It's a little bit unusual to transition from indicator nymphing to high stick nymphing, but I can tell you guys right now, it is worth it. It is so effective, and it just catches fish. It really does. You don't even have to worry about so many of the other things you would have to worry about. Do I recommend doing indicatorless nymphing every single time, no matter where you go? No, there are times and places where indicator nymphing is better than high stick nymphing or indicatorless nymphing. Larger rivers in particular, if you have to cast a longer way, that's a place that I would usually use an indicator. But even on larger rivers, you can still use this type of nymphing. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about a new type of nymphing that I've been trying out, and I will see you guys next time.